Hello and welcome to NewsClick. Kerala, which recorded the first case of COVID-19 in India, now has the country's best recovery rate. Its targeted socio-economic measures have reached the poorest of the poor in the state. The question now is what lies ahead. We asked Kerala's Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan some of these questions regarding the current scenario and the path ahead. Here is what he had to say. We begin, sir, with a question about the centre's role during this crisis. Now, Kerala has faced a successive series of disasters over the past few years. And in this context, what are the key demands that the state is making to the centre regarding financial and other forms of assistance?
States are in the forefront of this battle. The centre is playing the role of a facilitator. At the same time, the states are under serious economic stress, particularly with the onset of the GST, which has resulted in more centralization of revenue and funds. Without allocating more resources to the states, this fight cannot be won comprehensively. Extraordinary times require extraordinary action. The strict rules of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act should be set aside. A people-centric response is essential to overcome this pandemic's multifaceted fallout. Raising the borrowing limit of state to 5%, reducing the interest rate, allowing for advance borrowings, allowing for a hike in work days and wages under NREGS, increased direct beneficiary transfer of at least Rs 5,000 through Jan Dhan accounts, universal distribution of food grains stocked up in the FCI godowns, roping in PSUs for the production of medicines, remittance of money in the accounts of the workers belonging to other states, ensuring the flow of essential items like masks and sanitizers, increasing testing facilities, providing more medical equipment, flexibility in utilizing DRFs and so on are some of the measures the central government need to implement on a priority basis.
Now, in the coming weeks, what kind of a reopening strategy is Kerala looking at? Like, what are the sectors that require urgent intervention and assistance?
We are preparing for a phased relaxation of the lockdown in the state in consonance with the centre's guidelines. Accordingly, we are seeking the centre's approval for grouping of our districts into 4 zones based on the number of active cases. Certain exemptions are sought for the less affected districts so that the public can return back to their normal lives. However, all common restrictions applicable across India will continue in Kerala as well. Interstate and inter-district travel will not be allowed. Restrictions on public transport and public gatherings and closure of educational institutions, religious places and cinema theatres would continue to be in place. Throughout this lockdown period, we had said that the livelihoods of daily wage labourers can be protected through the NREGS. As it is the harvest season, we had pointed to the necessity of allowing agricultural activities as well. In both instances, adequate health precautions can be ensured with due supervision. Within those parameters, we will open up the construction sector and traditional sectors like kayar, cashew, beedi and handicrafts along with food processing units, cooperatives and plantations so that income can be ensured to the public.
Another key issue for Kerala is that of expatriate workers. Again, in the coming months, we are likely to see a massive inflow of people returning. As jobs in the Gulf countries and Europe's decline, people may lose their jobs. So has the government begun to plan how to rehabilitate these workers?
Pravasi's role in shaping Kerala's economy is well documented. Right now, in their time of need, we are doing whatever is possible to take care of them. The NORCA department has set up call centers in many countries to assist them. We are coordinating with Pravasi organizations to provide relief to those in need. If they are to return right away, we have made adequate arrangements like additional quarantining and isolation facilities to provide healthcare services to them. We have activated Law Kerala Sabha members and Pravasi Malayali groups to constantly monitor the situation and reach out to and help every single Pravasi who is needy. I took a detailed video conference and had a discussion with prominent people belonging to various walks of our Pravasi diaspora. Altogether, 25 representatives attended it. The subjects raised in that meeting were taken up with the center. We have been able to ensure medical services of doctors both on phone and online. The interests of those Malayalis who were stranded due to lockdown are sought to be addressed in every possible way. The concerns of those who are overstaying in Gulf countries due to the unexpected lockdown and the closure of airports were taken up with the concerned governments, making use of the concerned embassies. Registration facilities along with insurance security were arranged for the students who are studying abroad. In short, all possible steps are being taken to ensure the well-being of those who are stranded abroad and here as a sequel to lockdown. Every effort is being made to integrate Pravasis with the state government's developmental and welfare activities. There are certain areas where only center can intervene. Issues belonging to those areas are being taken up with the center. We have to chart out plans to assist those who may lose their jobs or would be forced to return back home. As an immediate relief measure to help them to tide over their current financial struggles, gold loans are being allowed to Pravasi families as a rate of interest as low as 3% through the Kerala Bank. Norca Roots and Pravasi Welfare Board have been asked to give financial assistance to those who need it seriously against the backdrop of COVID-19. The beneficiaries, around 15,000, those members of Pravasi Welfare Board who tested positive are being given rupees 10,000 as an emergency relief. We have set up help desks for various parts of the world to assist the non-resident Keralites who require help of various kinds. Making use of these help desks, issues relating to this community are being brought to the notice of the concerned governments with the cooperation of the Malayali organizations. Facilities ranging from providing food to the needy to quarantine facility are being arranged.
And finally, on a more personal note, your daily press conferences have almost become a part of people's lives in the state. And media reports and anecdotal evidence point to the fact that across political lines, they're a very key part of how the state is dealing with the crisis. So could you talk a bit about how you decided to conduct these conferences and how important it is that those in positions of authority address the press regularly?
Accountability to the people is an essential aspect of democracy. We have set new standards of being accountable by publishing progress reports each year. As far as press meets go, even during the floods in 2018 and 2019, they were held on a daily basis. People need to have authentic information on the various challenges that are emerging and on the measures that are being undertaken to overcome them, particularly when uncertainty looms large, while helping in combating fake news and communal campaigns during these difficult times. It also enables the people to remain resolute in their fight against this pandemic.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. That's all we have time for today. Keep watching NewsClick.